Okay, we're live.
We are live. And today's panel is all the way to my left. Maybe you're right. I'm not sure on the TV screen. It's Gianna Cartier.
Hello.
And then Martino.
Peace and hair grease.
What's your hat say today?
Y'all need Jesus.
Yes, we do.
I love it.
To my right is Pastor Blake.
Yo.
GCCC and GCCC's youth pastor.
Pookie Bear.
Samaj has
Blake doesn't know about Pookie
That's
Bear.
great, Maj.
Maz has.
Blake.
And I'm your host, Bruce Sophia. What's that?
Pastor Blake does not know why I said Pookie Bear. Jada accidentally revealed his pet name the other day. And it's Pookie Bear.
That's cute.
Do you have a pet name?
Oh, Lord.
No.
Do you?
Right?
Marty, right? Is
No.
that the closest?
PIA.
What is that?
Pain in the...
Yeah, that's a good one, right, Gianna?
Yeah.
What's Gianna? What's Gianna's?
Wonderful.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Mine's the door, front door.
My mom's was Polly.
Polly, want a cracker?
Yeah.
She talk too much?
Must be. I don't know. Mary was her real name, but they called her Polly. So I don't know.
Polly, want a cracker?
Mom used to be so funny. She'd be talking to you on the phone, and she'd just say, "Goodbye," click. Like, I'm serious. You'd just be talking and say, "Goodbye," click.
She was done. She was ready.
Noel's the same way. Noel will talk to you for like 20 minutes. You never get a word in edgewise. Just say, "Goodbye," click.
See ya. See you later.
Anyway,
That's great.
I'm done with this. Yeah.
oh, yeah, that's it. So anyway, how was your week?
Man, my week was good. I right after the Sunday was powerful. We had a great follow-up week. I mean, we saw God do so much healing, confirmed some healing in people's lives after the healing service 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And man, we had over 740 on Sunday, which is a great follow-up
2
week
weeks
for
in a
us.
row,
Yeah. Yeah, and 75 kids, which that just makes me so happy. That thrills the heart. And so, but right after that, I flew to Dallas and was at a conference called Modern Church Leaders.
That's your shirt.
And I got some decent swag. I wanted to see how it held in the Northeast. It's doing good. Yeah.
It was nice being in Dallas, wasn't it?
How about you?
Oh, the city's okay. The team's terrible. I mean, you guys are really bad. Right? I mean, they've been bad your whole lifetime, so you expect that.
Well, that's not true.
It
They
is.
weren't that bad.
when
They weren't that bad when I was
was
in.
your quarterback. You won 4 or 5 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, I wasn't alive.
He wasn't alive. That's what I'm saying. In his lifetime,
Your
Pee-wee.
lifetime, they're horrible.
He was born in 98.
No, 2000.
2000! 2000, Pee-wee.
The record between Dallas and the Flyers is going to be about the same.
Yeah, that's a rough one. That's a rough
Anyway, how was your week? Other than the Dallas things.
One week been going great so far, BB. Okay. Yeah, we had our Halloween party with the kids last night. So that was
Yeah,
really
fun.
fun. Yeah. Jada and I dressed up as Scooby-Doo. So
And
I was...
Boogie Bear?
Oh, we did that. We did
Yeah.
that 2 years ago.
Y'all did Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
So did y'all do, who like Shaggy and Velma?
Yeah.
So we did Shaggy and Velma. We dressed up as...
No, I'm sorry. The other ones.
Oh, Fred and Daphne?
That was us.
So Jada and I, we did Shaggy and Velma just up Indigo and the Scooby-Doo costume.
And Monso was Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
That's cute.
How about you, PB?
Me? First of all, I can't tell you how excited I am for Martino and Gianna and their team at Wigs and Wishes and all who work in that salon for, how long you been there, 10 years?
10 years.
In that
20.
20 in that location? Woo, that was a lot of money.
You ain't kidding.
And we missed, we missed your opening because we had scheduled a vacation and you didn't know when you were going to open until the last minute. So we missed that. We missed Sunday. But it was so cool because we always talk about how you go to churches and they don't give invitations. And how did I do? I'm sitting there at funerals and the pastor gives the gospel and he never gives a chance for people to respond. So this church it was called Princeton Community Church. We couldn't figure out if we were going to go to Crystal Community Church or Princeton Community Church. But we liked the community church, so we were going to go to one of those two. We wound up going to this Princeton Community Church, and he gave an invitation.
Praise
For
God.
those of you who'd like to accept Jesus, and he said, those of you who'd like to be baptized by immersion, And he worked through this whole thing.
That's
And I went, wow, that guy actually gave an invitation. Not only told people how to receive Jesus, but you can receive Jesus. So that was kind of exciting. And Cheryl and I, the first time we really got in a few days.
Oh, no.
It was really nice. What's he got?
He almost had the camera.
So, BB, guess what?
What?
Guess who gave the devotional and an invitation at YouTube last night?
I don't know.
Christina Rodriguez.
All right. Thank you, Christina.
That's good.
All right, we better get rolling.
Yeah, welcome to Hijack Life Live, where we believe that God rescues the dreams that have been shattered by the cruelties and injustices of life, aka we are the other view.
So, BB, what is our topic for today?
Okay, well, we said we were going to cover 10 reasons why we should vote. Right?
Mhm.
We covered the first 5. We didn't cover the last 5. And then we are going to, those of us who feel we can, we're going to tell you who we're voting for and why. And for those of you who are watching, we'd like you to tell us who you are voting for and why. All right? So,
Well, BB, let me just say, well, do you think it would be a good idea to, like, briefly, I guess, well, you use these big words. Is it enumerate?
yes.
Enumerate the first 5 reasons why I believe.
Yeah, because people who weren't here last week,
Yeah, right.
won't have it. So let's go over, this is by Dr. Krish Kandia.
Mhm.
Kandia.
Yeah.
Right. And he wrote this in Christianity Today. It was 2015 English election. It was in London. And he wrote these 10 reasons why, biblical reasons why he felt Christians should vote. And so that's what we started. So Gianna, I think you're up.
Wait, BB, before we start, Mario, why are you shaking your head over
Because
there?
he could just say Dr. K. Like, literally. I
All right, but I didn't say Dr. K.
You alright?
what happened?
He needed a little attention. We didn't introduce Israel, that's why.
Oh, yeah.
This is Israel Martino Cartier. And
He is the handsome one of the group.
all right, go ahead, John.
Voting publicly recognizes that we submit to the authority of the political system in our nation as established by God.
Voting also recognizes the equality of all people and their right to speak and be heard. It's super powerful because not every nation has the ability to do that. But it's a God-given right. And so, beautiful there.
Yeah, we looked at the verses last week. We walked this
Yeah.
week. We're just doing a little summary.
It's one way that we can obey God's command to seek the good of those around us and our nation as a whole. That's from Jeremiah 29, 5-7.
Well, it also shows that we care deeply about who our leaders are, and that we are urged to offer prayer and intercession on their behalf. We see that in 1 Timothy 2, verses 1-3.
Yeah.
And it's a simple yet significant way that we can do something about politics in our nation.
Right.
As Pastor Blake said, there's not a whole lot of nations where that is, well, they even may set it up and make you think you have a vote, but the
Right.
reality is
Right.
that you don't. And, hey, Edmund Burke said, all that is required for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing.
That's
So
powerful.
if you don't vote, you don't have an excuse,
Yeah,
especially
that's
in this country.
Yeah.
So any thoughts on that before we move on?
No.
No.
No? Okay. So let's move forward looking at the reasons, 6-10, on who we are voting for in this November election and why. So Pastor Blake, I think
Yeah.
we'll start with number 6.
It makes a difference. The way a grain of salt makes a difference. And that is how we're to influence our society for good. Believers are salt and light, right? Matthew 5 tells us this. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. Man, powerful.
Yeah, and people say, for so often I hear people say Christians shouldn't be involved in politics, but I'm thinking, we still have slavery today if it wasn't for Christians got involved in politics.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the women wouldn't have a right to vote for people to get involved in politics.
Didn't I share
I
a few?
don't-
Go ahead,
Just
Mark.
saying.
I was gonna say, I don't understand why, if our money says in God we trust, if our pledge of allegiance says one nation under God, if there's pictures of our founding forefathers praying, who came up with this nonsense that separation of church and state means there's no religion involved in the state? I don't get it.
Yeah, it was for the protection of the church.
That's what I thought.
It was not for the protection of the country. It was for protection of churches because they saw how the Anglican church was influenced by the kingdom. And so they wanted the separation for
There was a war
protections
between
for me and
Protestants
Pastor
and
Bruce. Like people like me
Catholics.
and Pastor Bruce so that we could minister
That's my
without
point.
having to be worried about our monies coming in from the state. All
That's
those
my
types of
point.
things.
How long
Yeah.
has "In God We Trust" been a phrase?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the other thing is, you remember the first book used in public schools, the Bible.
Yes.
So none of our forefathers really felt that Christianity should be removed from our culture. Most
Oh,
said it should be
no.
built upon it.
Yeah.
You know, it's only as we move forward and we become a much more diverse culture in the sense that religiously that others began to oppose Christianity as our founding faith.
I bet you the founding forefathers wish that they described what separation of church and state really meant somewhere in a declaration.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I'm actually studying this right now in school, but it's like I think when you what's the word, indoctrinate secularism into society, that also is what causes that separation of church
Well,
and state.
hey, listen, that is a religion. It's
Yes.
a code of ethics.
Yeah,
Anything that's a code of ethics, in essence, becomes a religion.
right, exactly.
No, a non-religion is a religion in and of itself.
Yeah,
It is.
100%.
So I think
Yes.
when you indoctrinate secularism in society, it causes church and state to be separated. And then what happens with that? The word of God gets lost.
Hey, I remember when we didn't have ball games on Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, if all the Christians, and at the time, particularly in Washington Township, like 90% of our population was Christian, if they just said, we're not playing, our kids aren't playing on Sunday, we wouldn't have games on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I'm just
So,
saying,
PB,
we have become quiet.
It's crazy. You're right. Like, we've removed ourselves and retreated rather than inserted into. We removed ourselves from education. We removed ourselves from athletics. We've removed ourselves from politics. We've removed ourselves from everything.
School boards,
Retreated.
everywhere
We retreated.
we can be an influence.
Because I think you're 100% right. If Christians would have stood instead of just retreated, we wouldn't be where we are today in the
I
country.
believe that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, voting is a privilege not to be taken for granted. Those of us who reap the benefits of living in a democracy should play a part in upholding democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord, my democracy is being violated every day right here on this property. So yeah, I definitely want to uphold it. Jeremiah 29 says, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all who were carried away captive, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and dwell in them. Plant gardens and eat their fruit. Take wives and beget sons and daughters. And take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands, so that they
Wait,
may..."
did God just say take more than one wife for your son? Oh no, wives for your son. All right. Just having a little
PB, don't get us in trouble over here.
One's enough, right?
One is enough. I mean, not real, not yet one like mine. But
that's right.
anyway, that they may be increased there and not diminished, and seek the peace of the city where I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray to the Lord for it. For in its peace you will have peace.
Yeah, so look what he's saying. He's saying even if you get carried away into a foreign country, you should want its best.
Influence the culture.
Influence its culture, want its best. And look what he told them to do, right? Build houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, eat their fruit, take wives for your sons, and bear children. So here, and he's not telling them retreat when you go to a foreign country. Retreat when you're in the world. Multiply, change it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, as we go on, it says not voting is a form of voting, as it will influence the outcome. We need to take responsibility for our actions, as well as our lack of action. That's true.
It's so frustrating when I hear people say they're not voting because they don't like either candidate.
Yeah.
It's just a vote for,
It's just
Hey, guess what?
vote closest.
I'm
yeah.
not there for either candidate either, but I'm voting
Yeah.
because if I don't, I have voted.
I said I don't care for either
And then
candidate,
there's
but I'm still gonna
policies, and I can vote for policy, and if I vote for a particular party or particular candidate, I know the policies they are going to support.
Closest biblical alignment for
Right.
Christians.
That's what we have to
You're
do.
not voting for a pastor.
Right.
You're
That's
not,
a good one.
You're
Yeah,
not voting
you're
for a
not.
pastor. You're not voting for somebody who stands on. You don't know where this, but vote for the person who stands closest to biblical moral principles. And the party.
And the party.
Yes,
the
that
party
stands
clearly
Yes.
takes certain
Oh.
platform positions
1,000%.
on a lot of moral issues that are close to us who are Christians.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well, let's look at
this is a great story.
Yeah, Luke 10. Yeah, the parable of the Good Samaritan. Probably one of my
While you're
favorite.
reading, I'm going to go get my phone so I can kick in Martin's feet. Go ahead.
Okay, so it says, and behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tested him, saying, Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? He said to him, What is written in the law? What is your reading of it? So he answered and said, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. And he said to him, You have answered rightly. Do this, and you will live. But he, wanting to justify himself, said to Jesus, And who is my neighbor? Then Jesus answered and said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, who stripped him of his clothing, wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. Now by chance a certain priest came down the road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. Likewise a Levite, when he arrived at the place, came and looked, and passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion. So he went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, and he set him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. On the next day, when he departed, he took the couch, gave them to the innkeeper, and said to him, Take care of him, and whatever more you can come again, each of these three to him, and who fell among the thieves. And he said to him, He who showed mercy on him. And then Jesus said to him, Go and do likewise.
And what was your point?
Our point is like, well, you do nothing, you're still kind of casting that vote.
Yeah.
When you do nothing,
And
but
so
when you
who
do
was
something,
the person who did something? It wasn't the priest. It wasn't the rabbi.
Yep, it was a Samaritan.
It was the Samaritan.
Right, because they kind of casted their vote already. I'm not doing anything.
Right.
They've already decided right then and there to just walk by the man. That person's not going to help me. Mm-hmm. But the Samaritan came and said, I am going to essentially vote and help that person.
Yeah, and what was interesting was the Samaritan was the outcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
He wasn't the in. He wasn't the Jew. He was the Gentile who everybody thought was the dog that was outside of the gate. And yet he was the one who lived the Christ-like.
And you would have thought the Levitical priests would have,
Yeah.
you know.
Anyway, Gianna, you're up, honey.
Oh,
Can you
Lord.
see that from here?
Voting
So
has-
you're number 9.
Got it. Voting has biblical precedence. For example, Acts 14:23 describes that early Christians elected elders by voting. So when they had appointed elders in every church and prayed with fasting, they commended them to the Lord in whom they had believed.
Yeah. Now, I'm not so sure that the church voted on their elders.
But it was I mean,
But certainly
idealistically,
the
from what we
elders
interpreted
selected the
voting,
elders,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there had to be a consensus. There had to be an understanding.
Yeah, church wasn't going to accept somebody they didn't want.
Yeah, I mean, they even talked about bringing on the Apostle Paul, right? The original apostles. They spoke about that and how they're going to integrate him and do those.
They laid
types of
hands and
things.
pointed people over to churches.
I would assume
but
there
they
was
had to be people that were respected and honored.
almost a democratic, almost a democracy in that.
In that sense.
In that way. I don't think that's a big stretch.
No. But anyway,
Well,
number 10.
Yeah, voting, and this is powerful. Voting is part of our stewardship to use all the resources we have been given in ways that honor God. To waste a vote is to squander a gift. And therefore, Corinthians says, therefore, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. Yeah, 100%. I mean, how do you get around that? God's given us an opportunity to influence our country. It doesn't mean that everything has to be perfect for you to go and vote or, lean in with this. But you're responsible,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing is, like you just said, Pastor, nothing is ever going to be perfect. But when you vote aligning yourself with those biblical principles, I believe we're doing what God wants us to do.
Right.
I mean, no man is going to be perfect. The flesh is weak, the flesh is corrupt. But what am I doing that's aligning with my walk of life? Who am I?
You know what I look at it, PB? I look at how Joseph, he still prepared Egypt, even though Egypt was evil.
Yeah.
He still did his best where he was placed. So did Daniel.
Yeah.
And
Look at that.
Israel knows.
Yeah. Israel knows.
He's amen over there.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right, so let's get into some sensitive issues. Those of you who are viewers other than Israel,
Well, we know who Israel's
Who are you
voting
voting for and why? Do we have any comments? Do we have any comments?
Israel's voting for the party that would actually support him.
Yes.
And his namesake.
And I'll tell you what side that is.
Everyone needs to vote, 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 fight, fight, fight. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Matthew 6:33. The kingdom of God is a government, not a religion.
That is true.
That is true.
But well, I think it is religion. Paul says, we argue that point. Paul said, not Paul, but who was it that said? Oh, James said Christianity is a religion. It's pure. It helps the widows. You know what I mean? He said religion that is pure.
Yeah.
And I always say, okay, line up every religion, and Christianity will always come up on top.
Yeah.
It's a code of ethics that can't be matched anywhere.
It's
Yeah.
So
I-
it meets the
yeah.
definition of a religion.
I think when people say that, they're
Yeah.
talking about how we've hijacked the word. The modern word has been hijacked.
right.
Religion has been hijacked by rules of right or wrong
Yeah.
to produce self-greatness. Where we would define religion as, a system of honoring
Yeah,
God.
right. And I say it qualifies as a religion.
Yep.
Though
Yep.
we say it's more than a religion, it's a relationship. It's
Mhm.
just not a code of ethics.
Yeah.
Where, a lot of nominal Jews, for instance, it is a religion. It's just a tradition, code of ethics
Yeah.
that they live by. But in
100%.
terms of their relationship with Jehovah, we don't know what they have or what they don't have.
I've met a lot of clients over the years that are just Jewish by culture. Like I've had like actual like kids like we're getting ready to do their mitzvah, like bar mitzvah kids, and like dad will straight up say, "Listen, I'm not religious at all. I'm just doing this."
I was teasing one of my Jewish clients today. I said, because we have mezuzahs around all the doors
Yeah.
at the salon,
Yeah.
and she said, "What are your alpacas or llamas names?" And I said, "Bert, Ernie, and Lloyd." She goes, "Well, thank God it's not Joseph, Mary." I said, "Well, how about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?" She said, "Who's that?" I said, "I thought you were a Jew." You don't know who they are.
Hey, don't laugh. We have this thing called Waldo, Find Waldo. A lady in the bookstore in Pittman runs it.
Right.
And so they come into our store. So I hide Waldo in this whole set of reeds. Right, reeds.
Yeah.
And I'll say to them when they come in, the kids, so do you know a Bible story? Do you know out of 20, there was one kid that knew a Bible story? Yeah. 1 out of 20.
I'm not surprised.
And then I'll say to them, because if you did, I'd give you a hint.
Mhm.
And then I talk about Pharaoh finding, his daughter finding Moses in the bulrushes, which are reeds.
Mhm.
And the one kid was that knew this year. One kid was the Crispin kid, and his mother plays the organ at the Methodist Church in Pittman. And
So cool.
and
That's awesome.
the Crispins, they played basketball for Villanova the year they won.
No way.
Yeah, they won the whole national champion, and they were Christians, and one of them
That's
started a
cool.
church, but it was cool. I thought that's why that kid knew.
Yeah.
Because he had a Christian heritage.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Not just
anybody
culture.
else, Gianna, or is that the only one who said something?
I think people are going to. Oops, sorry. What did I do? I think people are going to be afraid to.
Yeah, they probably
No
are.
one's saying.
So I'm going to go to Gianna. So who are you voting for and why?
I'm voting for Donald J. Trump. I just stand by his views as a president. I think that when he was in office, the country was in a better place. And I think if we continue on the way that we are, the road that we're already on, we're in deep trouble as a country. So I'm voting for change and to get the country back.
All right, well said. I mean, I'm voting for. I first want to say I think that we don't have a great selection in general of candidates, right?
Okay. Yeah, out of 340 million, and we're Kamala and Trump.
It's pretty sad. But that being said, I'm definitely voting for Trump as well, and I'm voting for Trump for a bunch of reasons. Number one, I do not feel that the Democratic Party supports Israel, and that is one of the biggest calls in the.
He's so cute.
Yeah, I mean, I support him.
Yeah. What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with these guys?
God makes it very clear. If you are not a friend of Israel, you're in trouble.
Mhm.
So, number one, we need to support Israel. Number two, when President Trump was president, there were no wars on all four corners of the earth. We were close with Israel. Our economy was better. Gas was cheaper. All those things. And then, of course, being adopted, I cannot support carte blanche abortion. I can't do it. And even if I wasn't adopted, just my faith in Christ, and
Right.
the fact that they're mocking that you can't get abortions up to 9 months when we all know that you can. And if you think I'm wrong, Google partial birth abortion. It's real, and they make light of it, call it women's health. It's not women's health at 9 months. It's not women's health. If a woman, God forbid, something goes wrong and she's going to die and the baby's going to die, that's a whole different animal. But because someone decides, you know what, I don't want to have a baby, it's inconvenient, and you have this grotesque abortion at 9 months, I think it should be hard. Just can't.
It's 90+% of all abortions are birth control.
I believe that.
It's 95 or better.
I'm not saying. I
Right.
also want to go on the record. If God forbid a woman's raped,
Right.
I would hope she would seek medical attention, get a D&C, and it would never turn into a pregnancy. God forbid if a young girl is molested by a family member or a neighbor or anyone for that matter. I'm not putting those in the same, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, in the same description of abortion. I'm not. I understand. I would never tell a woman who's raped or her kids molested that, that's different. The problem is
for
it's
instance,
so
Mark,
yeah.
I had to, as a really young dad, I had to choose between Liam and Lisa's life. Lisa was so preeclamptic that I got a call from the doctor. It was like, hey, we can take your son. We're not sure if he's going to live. We can abort him, or that'll for sure do your life. Or if he stays in much longer, he's going to take your wife's life. I was 23 years old. And so what I said was, you do everything you can to deliver him. And he came out, he cried. It was a miracle of God. You know what I mean? But I obviously didn't choose the abortion. You have to, I understand you have to protect your wife too. So I understand in certain circumstances exactly what you're saying in those places.
I just don't think it's fair.
I'm probably even a little stricter than Martin.
Yeah.
Because I think the child can't help the circumstance by which it's born.
I understand that.
And who knows what that child might be.
Yeah.
But but biblically, because the Bible has this one verse in Deuteronomy where it speaks about that you can take the eggs out of the nest, but you can't take the mother.
Correct.
So I've always looked at that in relation to abortion. That if it means the life of the eggs versus
you're
the
talking
mother,
in my case.
then you have to choose the life of the mother.
Yeah.
Because she's the one who's going to continue to give birth.
Life.
Yeah. And I think I just look at it now. Listen, I'm not going to judge the person who was raped or was pregnated incestually. That's between them and God. But to me, I say that child can't help the way it was conceived, and that child could be the next president of the United States.
You never know.
So I don't want to take it just like you. Look at your circumstance.
Sure.
So that's why I'm gets them every once in a while. He was in a
Okay, wait.
fair.
I think we're back.
Okay. We agree with you. We agree with you.
All right, we're back on.
All right, cool.
I'm not sure where we.
We're back on. Yes. All right.
Well, we
So
don't know
where
what
we
you
at?
heard and what you
No,
didn't hear.
Let me finish up. I was saying I don't think, and you agree with me,
Yeah.
that Trump knows the Lord because his speech doesn't reveal that. But he does know the value of spiritual things.
Yep.
And that is the distinguishing factor.
Franklin-esque. Benjamin Franklin.
Is it
Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Benjamin Franklin was. Yeah.
Yes. Totally understood the value of Christendom in society, believed a society should be built on Judeo-Christian principles, all of those things, but maybe not a follower in and of himself, right? That's kind of where they would.
A lot of people actually label Benjamin Franklin as a deist.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty popular in that day.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I
Anyway.
think Trump believes in something.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's
How
a big
about
follower.
you? It's not representing the church because you're not allowed to speak representing the church.
I'm voting for you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm voting for you. I think
It
your
would be all right if
policies.
you voted for me.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
so.
your
I
policies
vote for
are
you
good.
too. Anybody but the two we have.
I'm telling you, it's terrible because, you know, you got one who's just a complete liar, makes things up, hoping that you vote
Flip
for
flops
them.
every other day.
Yeah, and then you got Trump who can't keep his mouth shut, but yet when he was president, like I said, no war, great economy, you know, protects
For our religious rights.
and supports Israel. These are all biblical things, and it's the lesser of the two evils when you vote.
Yeah, I think you have a pretty clear idea of who aligns more biblically.
Right.
I mean, if you can't understand the concept, right, that's what I would say to our viewers. If you don't understand, just do some research yourself and look that up.
Mhm.
But as Christians, we all vote for those things. And so PB and I, like, we always get in fascinating conversations. And he asked me,
We
he's
were
like,
talking
hey,
about this last
I'm
night.
gonna ask you who you're voting for. I said, PB, I don't say who I'm voting for. And I wanted to share why. if that's
So then
okay.
I argued with him. I said, I never said who I was voting for from the pulpit, but I'm sure did on my
And
social
so-
media.
and this is the true reason.
Oh, wait, I have
Everything
one more
is
reason,
too-
and then you can talk.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I think that the Democratic Party hides behind that they really care for people, and I think they keep the unfortunate on the plantation.
Well,
I don't think there's
More
more
the
thing
fraud.
they do.
The fraud
it's a
mentality.
fact. My uncle,
Yes.
my uncle said it.
I
They've
don't
been planning
disagree
it
with
for
that at
years. Turning the heat up slowly and slowly and
Yeah.
slowly and slowly. The frog dies. You crank up the heat right away, he jumps out. They have strategically planned it. It goes as far back as Planned Parenthood trying to thin out the black population. I mean, that is a fact. You can look it up anywhere online. It's strategic.
That's disgusting.
I have a
That's
person.
It is
I
disgusting.
have a friend who's in a wheelchair.
Okay.
He's on SSI.
Yeah.
So if he makes more than X amount of dollars, they take him off SSI. So instead of encouraging him to go out and get a job, even if he makes a few bucks, and saying, listen, if you make an extra $200 a week, we'll match it.
Yeah.
We want you to get ahead in life. They keep him on the plantation.
Mhm.
He's white. They keep him on the plantation.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is, I think the whole Democratic Party is an issue of control. They say they're for the poor. They're not for the poor.
Here's the analogy, people. And I said this at Dell State, and I got a lot of flack for it when I said this at
Okay.
Dell State. I sat in a room full of a bunch of young black scholars, and I said, "How do you feel?" I said, break it down like this: would you prefer someone to come up to you and say the N word to your face? Would you rather have someone say the N word behind your back? And the room was split.
Oh,
Some
really?
said, "Oh yeah." Some said, "I'd rather have someone just call me that behind my back, so I don't have to just deal with it front hand." And then some people were saying, "Well, I want to be called the N word to my face, so I know what I'm dealing with." I said, the people that agree to the one saying it behind your back, that is exactly how the Democratic Party gets in with the black community every single time.
But they're
Wow.
losing big time.
That's a powerful statement.
First time Bucks County in first time in Pennsylvania, there's more registered Republicans than Democrats
Are you serious?
for the last 40 years. First time.
Pennsylvania's going to
And
be a big
I'm
election.
telling you, it's the black vote and the Hispanic vote that's waking up and saying, you're not going to keep your
Well,
hand or your thumb on me. For the
We've
rest
said
of
this
my life."
before, but the Planned Parenthood still honors Margaret Sanger, one of
To this
the
day.
biggest racist, anti-African American person ever born of a woman. They still honor her to this day with the Margaret Sanger Award.
Mhm.
She physically said, "I want to thin the black
It's
population,"
the fastest
and
growing.
they still
Yep.
honor her.
Yep. But guess what? You know who created Volkswagen, right?
No.
Adolf Hitler created Volkswagen. But but you don't see an Adolf Hitler Award. You don't see them ever paying homage to Hitler, whatever. No, it's a history they don't want to represent them.
Right. Yeah, Planned
But yet
Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood still lets Margaret Sanger represent them.
Yeah.
Well, they should pull her statue down, and I can pull everybody else's down. I don't think they should pull her statue down. They should put it up and say, that woman, see, this is her history.
Yeah, she's the
Don't take
racist.
it down.
Yeah,
That's
you tell the actual story.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
anyway,
we try-
I interrupted
we try to
you. Finish
whitewash.
up.
No, we try to whitewash history away,
Yeah.
and it's disgusting. No, so PB and I got in a fascinating conversation because he sends a script beautifully written. I thought it was an awesome show today, right?
Thank
like
you.
it was. I mean, God was honored. Like it was awesome, and I think all of our viewers would agree. And so I told PB, I was like, hey, I don't ever share who I'm voting for, and so we get in this great conversation.
We got.
And so I just
I
wanted
like
to
the
tell
word
you
that
why.
you said it's a conversation.
And, how it was? Well, I mean, because we love each other.
Yeah,
It counts, right?
Because we lost you.
And so anyway, with these two figures being so polarizing, PB is at a different point in his career and influence than I'm at. I think Christians, you should tell your people and coworkers who you are voting for and why. Like, hear my voice on that. My job is to reach the lost. Is to reach the lost.
Right. No,
And
it
so when it's all Christians' job, but I have a primary to equip the saints. And so if somebody just gets a hold with the way that our political scene is so polarized and says Pastor Blake's a Republican or Pastor Blake's a Democrat, it cuts me off from the society.
He's
they
worried
want.
about building a
they-
wall versus a bridge.
No,
I
and
understand.
so completely.
That's the only reason
I
why,
agree with
honestly.
you.
Now, I will tell you this. These men and this beautiful woman over here told you where biblical parties lie.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can assume all you want, but what you won't hear come out of my mouth is I am a Republican or I am a Democrat or I'm voting that
and I'm
party.
going to say for years I was independent, but
Well, I
then
go for
I
the
lost my right to vote in the primary.
Yeah.
So I had to pick a party, but for years,
Yeah.
I mean, when we were in the theater and we got interviewed by the Courier Post and, you know, the Gloucester County Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer,
Yeah.
all the time we were on the radio, and I would say I'm independent purposely. But again, I mean, locally, we voted for Jared Luongo, who was
Sure.
a Democrat.
I always vote for the person. Like, there's a Republican that's against IVF. I would never support someone against IVF. You know how many people that want children so bad, and because of IVF, they're blessed to have a family? I think that's crazy to vote for.
Right.
That Republican should hang up his hat.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway,
So
finish
we
up.
got
and
fun
then
with
we'll-
No, that's it, PB. I think we had a great fun with it, and you know, I mean, this is wonderful.
You
I think
like
this will
those
help people.
glasses?
I do.
Here, let me do the exit.
I
with
love
them.
them. Yeah, look
you
at
do
that.
it?
Let me do
I'll
the
tell you
exit.
what.
Ready? Here
You
we
really
go.
like 'em?
I do like
And
that.
1, 2, 3. Remember to share. And if you
Yeah.
like a copy of today's manuscript, feel free to let us know and we will send you a copy. Hey, by the way, Pastor Blake, what's happening this weekend at the Gloucester County Community Church?
Hey, we got one service this
Cool.
weekend, 10 o'clock, family service, and then family fun day
Wait,
right
clocks-
after.
Clocks don't go back this weekend, right?
No, not yet.
No.
November,
it's,
first weekend in
first
November.
weekend
Well,
in
that's
November.
not- that's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right, good. 10 o'clock. Be there
10
or be
o'clock.
square. Remember, we have Hijack Life t-shirts. One says live for Jesus, and even a bad day will be a good day. One says, why are you telling me that? Stop gossiping. My favorite of all is make life count. Stop bitching. Start blessing. Notice the two
Nice.
saints did not join the two sinners. All right, y'all ready? 1, 2, 3.
What Jesus
Living-
said about the two
Oh.
sinners, right? He said, "Hey, don't be with me in paradise. You guys ain't making it."
Hey, I like that. 1, 2, 3.
Live for Jesus, and even a bad day will be a good day.
Love you guys.
Peace and hair grease. How do you shut
That was
this
awesome.
thing off?
No, baby.
Yeah, you wanted them.